They watched the lights, mesmerized, as the colors flashed and gracefully danced before them. They were so dazzled that no one seemed to notice when the mist closed behind them, cutting off the way they had come in. Sven nervously grunted. "It's okay," said Kristoff, trying to calm him. The group continued to watch, and soon the ribbons of light picked up speed, darting behind them like bolts of lightning. Then the mist began pushing against their backs. But this time, the force shoved them hard. They all shouted as the strength of it pushed them into each other, making them run and stumble deeper into the mist, until they found themselves on the other side. They had entered the enchanted forest. "What was that?" said Kristoff, shaking it off. They all turned to see that the mist sparkled with faint specks again, no longer dancing with streams of concentrated light. Olaf grinned. He ran and jumped at it, now bouncing off the mist again. From the other side, delighted, he continued to play with the trampoline-like magic. The impenetrable mist had allowed them to enter the enchanted forest, but now they were trapped inside. Chapter 4. Boing, boing, boing. Olaf happily bounced against the mist again and again. "Okay, it let us in, but it clearly doesn't want to let us out," said Kristoff. With one final bounce, Olaf fell to the ground, giggling. He wiggled around, settling into the feel of the soft, cushy earth beneath him before looking up. Brightside, the forest is beautiful," said Elsa, admiring the view of the vibrant fall. Foliage in warm reds, yellows, and oranges all around her. Everyone agreed with Elsa. The enchanted forest was staggeringly exquisite. It was as if they had entered an entirely different world. They slowly walked around, taking in its natural beauty. It was absolutely stunning. Elsa inhaled a deep breath. The air was fresh, and the forest was quiet, calm, and still. She looked up in awe of the giant trees, stretching so high, the tops disappearing in the mist. "These must be the trees I saw when I was outside on the plain," she thought. That was when she noticed she couldn't see even one bit of sky. The mist blocked it completely. The bit of light from the sun that filtered through the mist made the colors of the forest shimmer with a warm glow. Star moss in all shades of green covered the ground like a soft carpet, and tiny patches of vibrant flowers and ferns peeked out from behind rocks and trees. Sven scratched his back against a wide, sturdy tree trunk, feeling its thick bark dig into his fur. Then he spotted another one to try and went over to test it out. He continued to go from tree to tree, scratching his back against each one as he passed. The golden leaves of one tree captivated Kristoff. The young man examined them closely, intrigued. They seemed unreal, dangling delicately from beautiful arching white branches. Anna followed the shifting rays of sunlight cutting through the mist, sparkling with color and life as they led her over a small hill. She looked down and gasped at the remarkable sight. "The dam," she said. "It still stands." Kristoff went to her and looked out, appreciating the view. Anna couldn't help thinking about her father's story and the battle between the Northuldra and the Arendelians. She wondered why the Northuldra would attack her people after the Arendelians had put the dam for them so that the two lands would be joined, and there would be more room for their reindeer to roam without crossing the treacherous river. It was one part of the story that had bothered her ever since she was a child. Where did the peace between the two groups go wrong? She thought. That part of the story seemed to be missing. Still in good shape, said Kristoff, gazing out at the dam. Thank goodness. Thank goodness? What do you mean? Asked Anna, confused. Well, if that dam broke, it would send a tidal wave so big it would wash away everything on this fjord, he exclaimed. Arendel's on this fjord, said Anna, raising her voice, rising with worry. Nothing's going to happen to Arendelle, Anna, said Kristoff, putting his arm around her. It's going to be fine. Come here. Comforted, Anna leaned into him. She wrapped her arms around him, cuddling close. The two looked out, silently enjoying the view together for a moment, listening to the sound of the rushing water in the distance. An idea came to Kristoff. He reached into his pocket and dug around for the ring he had for Anna. It was made of gold, with a special stone set in it that he had gotten from his troll family. Kristoff knew Anna would love it, and he was excited to give it to her, but he wanted the moment to be perfect, one they would both remember forever. Clasping the ring tightly in his palm, he thought it was time to try again. You know, he said, under different circumstances, this would be a pretty romantic place, don't you think? Different circumstances? Asked Anna, turning to look at him, worry in her expression. You mean like with someone else? What? Kristoff asked, wondering how Anna would even ask that. Somehow things had taken a turn for the worse. He knew he had to hurry. No. I'm saying, just in case we don't make it out of here. Anna pulled away and stared at him with a frown. Wait, what? You don't think we're gonna make it out of here? No, said Kristoff, trying to laugh off her concern. I mean, we will make it out of here, he rambled nervously. Well, technically the odds are complicated, but my point is, in case we die... You think we're gonna die? Asked Anna, interrupting him again. No! Kristoff said, realizing once again that the proposal was not going as he had intended. For some reason, he just couldn't seem to find the right words to get back on track. He knew another chance was slipping away, making him fumble even more. No. We will die at some point, but not at any recent time will we die, but way far in the future we will die. Anna suddenly realized she didn't see her sister anywhere. Where's Elsa? She blurted, panicked. I swore I wouldn't leave her side. She abruptly ran off into the woods, shouting Elsa's name. Kristoff sighed. Sven, who had been watching nearby, stepped up beside him. Kristoff looked over at the reindeer. I'm fine, he said quickly. But Sven had been Kristoff's friend for too long, and he knew that Kristoff was anything but fine. He rubbed his muzzle against his friend's shoulder, trying to comfort him. Anna frantically ran back toward the edge of the enchanted forest and began to search for her sister. But Elsa was nowhere to be found. Chapter 5. Elsa? Anna's voice ran out through the forest. She picked up speed as she looked behind the bushes and over the ridges, her voice growing louder with concern. Elsa didn't hear her sister calling. She was walking among the giant trees, lost in thought. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath of crisp air. But she sensed something. There was a prickling sensation on the back of her neck, and her eyes shot open. She spun around immediately, ready to face whatever was following her. At that moment, Anna rushed to her side. Elsa was surprised when she saw Anna. "Elsa, there you are," she said, thrilled to see her sister was safe. "You okay?" "I'm fine," Elsa answered distantly. Anna breathed a sigh of relief. "Okay, good." But the moment of calm didn't last long. Anna looked around, wearing a worried expression. "Where's Olaf?" The two of them glanced in every direction, but didn't see the little snowman anywhere. The girls joined forces with Kristoff and Sven and immediately began searching the area. Off in a distant part of the woods, Olaf happily skipped across the forest floor. He was thoroughly enjoying exploring every inch of the amazing, magical, delightful place. "Anyone else feel like they're being watched?" he asked, not realizing he had strayed so far from his group. "Anyone? No? No one? I'm alone." Olaf looked around, wondering where everyone had gone. "Anna? Elsa? Sven? Samantha?" He cracked up, chuckling to himself. "I don't even know a Samantha," he added. Just then, a strong gust of wind whooshed by. It rushed behind him, sending a shiver up his back. "Whoa!" Olaf said, spinning around, thinking someone was there. Seeing nobody, he shrugged it off. A thick branch above him split and made a loud popping noise. Then a pile of leaves fell on his head. "That's normal," said Olaf, shaking them off. He didn't want to admit it, but he was starting to feel a bit nervous. As he started to walk away, a rock fell right in front of him. It seemed to come from nowhere, causing him to trip. He fell flat on his face and got a mouthful of dirt. Before he could get up, a geyser burst from the ground beneath him. The water soaked him as it pushed him back up and to standing. Olaf remained still for a moment, wondering exactly what was going on. Then he heard something scampering in the trees above. "What was that?" he asked, cautiously looking up. As he continued walking, the earth before him broke open, and suddenly he was staring down into what looked like an endless black hole. He slowly backed away from the edge of the pit. "Samantha?" he asked, his voice now quaking in fear. The realization that he was alone in a strange place finally hit him. The enchanted forest didn't seem so amazing, magical, and delightful now. It was terrifying! The black line that sizzled with heat sent smoke as it burned straight through a lush mound of star moss. It picked up speed, charring everything in its path, zooming toward him. He leapt out of the way a moment before the black line could run across his leg. Struggling to calm his nerves, he told himself that everything he was experiencing was normal. Olaf was sure that if his grown-up friends were there, they would tell him things were completely fine. He was certain that when he grew up, he would know all kinds of things he didn't yet know. Like that everything happens in the forest right like that everything happening in the forest right now was not out of the ordinary. Olaf would later look back on this and laugh. It would all make sense to him in the future. He was sure of it. Keeping a positive outlook, he walked through a thick cluster of trees, trying to find his way back to the group. Vines twisted around, gnarling tree branches above and around him, making the area dark and spooky. But Olaf bravely pressed on. Several pairs of glowing eyes peered out at him. Staring through bushes, he could only imagine the creatures behind those creepy gazes. There we go. Olaf winced and said weakly, "Excuse me." Trying hard to remain polite even as he fought to keep it together, he hurried ahead. Olaf came upon a clearing with a small stream. He looked at his reflection in the water, hoping the sight would be a comfort. Excuse me. But his face looked warped and weird in the creek's ripples. It only made him feel worse. When Olaf's reflection changed, now he was looking at a strange creature. Olaf touched his face, but it felt the same. He suddenly realized that the creature wasn't him. It was something that was staring up at him from beneath the surface of the water. Unable to stay calm for another second, he let out a shriek. Ah! Sparks immediately erupted, causing a nearby bush to burst into crackling flames. Olaf took one look and screamed even louder. The snowman's screams ended only when he ran out of breath. Oddly, the fire instantly went out, too. Olaf looked at the smoldering bushes, smoking and charred from the burn, and tilted his head curiously. He forced a small smile, reassuring himself once again that one day he would understand that all these things had a perfectly logical explanation, just like the fact he liked to quote. But one thing he truly understood at that moment was that he needed to find Elsa and the others. Olaf looked up and saw the trees swaying nearby. Then more trees began to move, and he could sense the strong wind swooshing and swirling, shoving the trees aside as it picked up speed, making its way toward him. "This is fine," he said, even as his eyes got bigger. And when the wind reached him, it swooped Olaf up and tossed him into the air. It swirled him all around, separating his body parts and sending them flying every which way. Olaf did the only thing he could. He cried out for his friends. I think we're going to end there for now.